And for the next part of your homework, you had to do lesson 7-6 practice B 1 through 33 odd. So what I'm going to do is some of the questions that you might have some issues with. I'm just going to pick a few here. I'm going to do number 7, number 10, and number 25 for you. Number 7. The first thing you need to do is get this 5 on the other side so that it's much easier to raise both sides to the power of 3. Now the reason why you want to raise both sides to the power of 3, and you actually want to show that step of raising both sides to the power of 3, is because this expression is raised to a power of 1/3, and you want to get inside this. You want to try to get this expression so that you can solve for x. That's really the goal. But in order to do that, you have to make the exponent of this entire expression 1. And in order to make 1/3 equal to 1, you have to multiply by 3. The power rule, take a power of a power, multiply the powers, and that's going to be equal to 2x plus 3 to the 1. Now, this is going to be 27. You have to do the same thing to both sides in order to maintain equality. Subtract 3 on both sides and we get that 2x is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 2 and x equals 12. Now looking back into the instructions, it says check for extraneous solutions. That means that we're going to have to check the one answer that we solved for and make sure that it makes sense in the original equation. So 2 times 12 plus 3 raised to the 1/3 power minus 5, is that going to be equal to -2? This is going to be 24 plus 3 raised to the 1/3 power minus 5 equals -2. 24 plus 3 is 27 to the 1/3 power minus 5 equals -2. That's 3 minus 5 equals -2. -2 does in fact equal -2, and so our solution is x equals 12. Moving on to the next one. Here again, we're going to have to subtract 5 on both sides. And this time we want to raise both sides to the 4th power because this is a 4th root of 3x, which means you could also, if you wanted to, change that into a fraction, an expression with a fraction as an exponent, just to get that exponent equal to 1. Either way, that's going to get you the same result of 3x equals 1, because 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Divide both sides by 3, x equals 1/3, and you will have to check for extraneous solutions, so that means that 3 times 1/3 plus 5, is that equal to 6? 3 times 1/3 is 1, 4th root of 1, plus 5 is 6, 1 plus 5 is equal to 6, 6 equals 6. That checks out. So that means that x equals 1/3. And the last example, number 25. Here, since this is the square root, I'm going to have to take both sides to the 2nd power. So one side, 3x plus 13. Now this actually means x plus 5 times x plus 5. So we're going to have to double distribute, and you get x squared plus 10x plus 25. This is a common mistake that students make by not actually multiplying this binomial correctly, or squaring this binomial correctly. Now, take away 3x on both sides. Now notice that I'm showing every single one of my steps. A lot of you guys take a lot of shortcuts, and that's why you get a lot of computational errors. And so now we have to factor. Two factors of 12 that add up to 7, x plus 3 and x plus 4. And then solve. And so x is going to be equal to -3 or -4. Now we have to check your solutions. So we have that x is equal to -3 or x is equal to 4. Now the most important part of this part is we have to check in the original equation. So if x is equal to -3, then the square root of 3 times -3 plus 13, is that going to be equal to -3 plus 5? Three times -3 is 9, -9, plus 13 is 4, so the square root of 4 equals 2, and 2 equals 2. So x equals -3 checks out as a solution. Now let's check out x equals -4. 3 times -4 plus 13, is that equal to -4 plus 5? 12, -12 plus 13 is the square root of 1, which I don't know why I didn't, sorry, that was supposed to be 1 equals 1. That also checks out. And so we have that your solutions for this problem for number 25 is -3 and -4.